Welcome everybody to episode 3 of the FreshCast. It is November 18th, 2020. How you doing, bro? How's
I'm
it going?
doing good.
Yeah,
Considering past couple days, I've been doing better.
yeah. Still feeling a little bit under the weather.
Yep.
Yeah. So you said you got tested twice, right?
Yeah. I have another one scheduled tomorrow, the 19th.
Yeah. Now,
So
which one did you do? You do the nose one or the
both of them will be nasal swabs.
nasal swab?
My company does not believe in the mouth one.
Yeah. And there's supposed to be another one, right? Which is blood.
Yes, but the one from what I've understood from what my mom's told me, blood shows if you've had COVID. So even if I had COVID last year, it's going to show up in my blood because one of
Oh, so is that based on antibodies?
yes, that's if you have the antibodies in your system.
And your mom's a head nurse, right?
Yes, my mom is the CNO of a
Yeah, so she
small.
would she would
Yeah,
she would know
yeah,
if anybody
yeah.
knows.
Actually, speaking of that, she right now they are in the middle of testing every single patient, every single staff, every week.
Wow.
Every week they've had a small outbreak, which one case is considered a small outbreak in her small facility. So
Now, from my point of view, that's just one line of defense is getting tested. Like people are saying masks. I mean, masks are not 100% effective,
no,
obviously, but it's just one line of defense. Now, you can see the flaws in that, even by like they said, even the White House. A lot of people in the White House got it. Trump even had it.
yep,
Which is crazy to me. And they were supposed to be getting tested all the time, from what I understand. So for people to say that, as long as you're testing everybody, you should be fine. I don't know if that's true. I don't
yeah.
know. I don't
See,
know if that works that way.
the more you test, the more positive cases you're going to have, no matter what. Now,
Mhm.
granted, having a positive test, they can almost kind of predict like, hey, okay, you need to start taking this to try to combat this when it sets in. But then again, it's not really going to be 100% effective until they come out with this vaccine.
Yeah, which me and you were wanting to bring up on the podcast was the Pfizer's new vaccine, which they say is safe and it's 95% effective. Now, my thought on that is who gets it first. Now, from what I understand, there was a trial run where people got half of people got placebo effects and the other people got the actual vaccine. So they're saying the people that actually did the trial, they're the ones that are going to get the vaccine first, which is, which
Okay,
is
I
good.
could.
They were randomly picked and then randomly who gets the placebo, who gets the real one. So I kind of understand where that comes from. But now the second thing people are thinking is now the second people that get it are going to be doctors, nurses, people that drive ambulances. Everybody in the like pretty much is in the first line of defense,
Yeah,
right?
I
Which
could. I could be for
yeah,
that.
yeah, I would be 100% behind that. I mean, a nurse that spends 20 hours a day
Yeah,
that isn't like in contact with them all the time, they need immunity first.
I'm about to say there are ones, they're the entire time they're in the hospital, they have to wear their mask. They cannot take their masks off.
Mhm.
Whereas, like, oh, I'm at work. Oh, okay, I'm driving my truck. I'm going to take it off. I have that luxury of taking my
Yeah.
mask off. But they also
And
have that N95 mask, which is that thicker,
you can't
heavy
breathe.
dude. Yeah,
Yeah,
I couldn't
yeah.
do it.
And a lot of people were saying, these masks are annoying, but at the same time, I really think at that time, especially right now, everybody just needs to get together and just do it.
Yeah,
It's not
that's
hard.
yeah. I may not like the mask. I actually hate the mask. I wish it would go with, but I will always wear it. One, not just because it's my company's policy that I have to have it on, but for the fact that if it saves somebody,
Yeah, it's
why
just
not?
it's like a neighborly thing. You know what I mean? Like you don't go on the road and drive on the other side of the road just
Yeah,
because it's easier.
I seen a picture the other day, and it actually pretty explained this mask thing really well. If you're walking down the street and both people are naked, and that guy starts peeing on you, you get wet. Okay, but if you wear pants, your pants get wet, but you still get wet. But if you're both
Okay.
wearing pants, he gets wet, you don't get wet.
Okay, that was like really lost at the beginning of that analogy, but that really makes a lot of
Yeah, so
sense.
if you're both wearing pants and somebody tries to pee on you, they're going to get it on themselves first. I'm like, that's a weird way of looking at it,
But
but
it's true.
it's effective.
Yeah, it makes a lot. That makes a lot of sense. Now, who gets it after that? Now, a lot of people are saying the elderly, people that are at risk. Now, there are some people that are a lot of science, or I guess people that are doing these vaccines are saying, well, what if we start giving it to the people that are actually in the workforce? They're the ones spreading it.
Yeah, and that's I could.
You know what I mean? So there's a dilemma right there. Who gets it first? Because how many fucking people live in America? Sorry for my language. How many people live in America?
Last I remember was 1 point something billion people. I could be
Yeah.
off on that.
Okay, let's just say you gave it to all the elders. How long is it going to take before it actually gets to the working class?
Yeah,
That's a long time. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there. The other thing was that it needs to. That I was watching a podcast and they were saying it needs to stay under negative 80 degrees. That's not a regular refrigerator. That's not a regular
no,
freezer. Like that's below dry ice temps. I mean that's
yeah, that's cold.
yeah, and there's going to be different vaccines that come out. In I don't know, because what. Correct me if you think I'm wrong on this, but a vaccine is it doesn't it gears your immunity up to be able to fight the virus.
Yeah.
Correct? That's what it does.
See, from what I remember, certain vaccines they give you the disease, but it gives you the antibodies of that disease to fight that disease, like
Yeah.
the whooping cough virus, which is a lot of babies suffer from. They give it that whooping cough vaccine, which gives them whooping cough, but it's the antibodies of it. So
Yeah,
that way,
it's
if
like
they
an
do,
engineered
yeah,
disease to where the body can handle it, but it still gives you immunity
yeah.
to fight
So
it
that
off.
way, if you ever do get a handle, it's not like it's actually going to affect you.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And I was listening to this guy, and I guess he works at Yale, and he does a lot of different. I guess I don't know, got a lot of different trials, a lot of different, just seeing ways of how people think and the way how the world works and everything. And they're saying that it's it's probably going to be like 2022, 2023 before things go back to normal.
yeah,
Um, and to us that seems like a lifetime. But if you look back at, what was one of the crazy diseases that was like back in the
Spanish
day?
flu,
Spanish flu, that was one of them. You
1820.
know, like the bubonic plague that took out like 50% of
Sorry,
society.
I'm wrong. 1920 was influenza outbreak. 1820 was bubonic plague.
Yeah, in which to speak about influenza, China released that they're seeing a high uptake on influenza,
I
which
mean,
is kind
that's
of scary.
which is what I just had. I had influenza, which is just flu.
Yeah,
And
so I don't think once this vaccine actually does hit us to the public, it's not over.
no,
This stuff is going to be with us forever. It's going to be a normal thing.
I mean,
Um,
look at it now. Like, okay, we have a bubonic plague vaccine,
mm,
yet we still have people out there suffering from bubonic plague. A lot of them
mhm,
on the reservation.
yeah. And I caught myself saying it. I was like, well, once we get the vaccine, we should be okay. That's not true. It's not true at all. It's going to be something that's going to be in our daily lives. Now, do I see us wearing masks in 5 years? Probably not.
I hope not.
Yeah, I hope not
I
too. I
really
mean,
do.
I would hate that. That would suck to be wearing masks that long. But if it does help, I'm willing to take that little small inconvenience out of my day to
Oh yeah,
do it.
especially. I mean, if you get a right mask, like the mask I wear, one that your mom made for me,
Mm-hmm.
that mask is comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the cloth mask, so it doesn't irritate my nose. So I'm not, and it's got a filter in it, so it's okay.
Yeah.
But I hate masks, but I will gladly wear one.
Yeah, yeah, and I think everybody needs to kind of be a grown up and be mature about this situation because we're not in the end run of this. We're barely in the beginning of this thing. We're barely in year one.
Yep. And I mean, that's what everyone talked about when at the beginning of the year, back, I think it was in April, was when everything started slowly opening back up after being closed down for so long. Everyone was talking about, in 1920 with the influenza outbreak, that's what happened was everyone thought everything was over. So everyone started gathering in the streets, having parades, and then we got hit with that second wave.
Mhm.
In my crazy conspiracy theory, I think we're going to get hit with a third and a fourth wave
Yeah.
because I think people, and especially nowadays, I hate to say it, you see them now. They have the anti-mask parades.
Yeah.
To me,
It's
is
so
going
dumb.
above and beyond.
Yeah.
I also, and then I was watching a thing on TikTok. Uh, this guy, he was in a store, came out of the store, and he took his mask off. And a guy yelled at him and said, "Hey, you just need to be a lion, not a sheep, and just take the mask off." And the
Yeah.
guy he said, I
Yeah.
laughed at him for the next 5 minutes as I walked to my car. He said,
Yeah.
his wife is, which he always shows his wife. His wife is a very sickly lady. She has a lot of immune disorders. So he's like, one, I'm doing it to protect her. I said,
Hmm.
and two, he says, if I save my neighbor from this disease by wearing my mask, I'm going to wear my mask.
Yeah. And I'm all for freedom. I'm all for doing what you want to do, but at the same time, I really think people need to be grown ups about this. A lot of people are saying, take supplements for vitamin D, vitamin C. Work out, stop drinking so much because drinking lowers your immunity. And right now, bars are closed, restaurants are closed, which I'm pretty sure was like 50% of where alcohol was
Yep.
consumed. Now it's at home. So I really feel like and I can't speak for other countries, but like the United States, a lot of people are sheep. I'm sorry, it's the truth. A lot of people are sheep. So if you show something on TV saying, "Hey, go out of your way, go get vitamin D supplements, vitamin C supplements," go out of your way to doing these little small things, stop drinking so much, work out a little bit. Those things can help your immunity. When you do get it, you have a better chance.
Yep.
Um, from what I understand, it's like a 1% chance of you dying now from COVID, but that doesn't mean you should not be worried about
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
people that have different medical conditions. I would hate to give it to one of my grandparents or
Your
you
niece
know
and nephews.
yeah,
That's,
somebody that can't handle that kind of
yeah.
virus. You never know how somebody's body is going to react to
I
it.
mean, that's what always everyone talks about. Like, okay, well, what does it matter? What does it matter? I have lost my, and you know, I lost my
Mm-hmm.
uncle to COVID, and that was
Mm-hmm.
hard. My uncle
Yeah.
was a unhealthy man. I mean, he was 6'9" and like 600 and something pounds, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He
It's
still
not. Yeah.
died from a disease that probably could have been prevented if somebody was wearing their mask around it.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I
It's
mean,
true. Yeah. So and you never want to. And I think that's why the United States didn't really do it because they don't want to say um, just because you're overweight or just because you're an alcoholic, that's the reason you died. It's your fault you got the disease. That's not the right way of going about it. I feel like there was better ways of going about it, being saying, "Hey, it's hard because people want to blame Trump, but Trump has a sense of humor.
yeah,
He didn't really expect anybody to go out and drink bleach, like or take what was the other stuff? It's like a yeah,
hydroxymoxetine or something like that.
it was like fish container cleaner.
Yeah,
Like you got to be out of your mind. Like if you really thought that Trump was saying go out and buy this stuff and drink it, you are out of your mind.
you also got to think about it. You said earlier, people are sheep. Remember was it 2 years ago? Tide Pod. People were
Yeah.
eating Tide Pods. I
Oh my
mean, now
god.
those people are actually older and now adults. So I
Yep.
mean,
It was funny too, because like when that was happening, I was like, Your generation's crazy. My generation, they choked themselves until they blacked out." You
Oh yeah,
remember that?
we did that too. I
You
didn't.
remember?
No, I did not do
I
that.
did. I didn't do that, but my generation did.
But
Like I
yeah,
remember when I was younger, that was a thing. You would
and
strangle someone
highlighters,
until they black. Yeah, you get
sniffing
high on
highlighters.
highlighters. I swear, bro.
Not eating
People
Tide
are
Pods though.
so stupid, man. Tide Pods, of all things to like. Do you remember the cinnamon challenge?
I wanted to do that. I
Dude, the
never
cinnamon
did.
challenge was kind of fun. But yeah, I mean, people. I feel people are sheep, and it's. I
People,
wouldn't say everybody, but there's a large majority that sit there and look at their TV and take that information and run with it
and
instead
that's
of using
what
their own. Yeah.
you look at the. We're starting to get into that second wave of people buying toilet paper and water. Granted, me and Tiva, we bought water. We always keep 3 cases on hand, but
Mm-hmm.
that's it, 3 cases. And it's like, holy crap, we're gonna probably have to buy 3 more because we might not be able to get it in a month.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one thing I'm thankful for is the company I work for. I can just say, hey, can you all hold this back for me? And they're gonna save it for me. But good lord, it's
Yeah, and that's what I do for a living is go to grocery stores and um, see these aisles of just wiped out toilet paper, and it just blows my mind. It's just like, out of all things, why
why.
that? Why
Yeah,
toilet paper?
and now, like at the beginning of this, I remember everyone buying toilet paper. I'm like, COVID when it first came out did not have that symptom of coming out the other end. Now it actually does, but it's like you're buying toilet paper in case you get it, and you really think you're going to go through 24 bags of 18 count toilet paper? It's like no.
Yeah, and I was talking to my dad about this, and he was saying that he thought, you go into a grocery store, you see somebody with four packages of toilet paper. You're thinking in your head, okay, maybe I should grab one. And then someone else sees that, and then someone else sees that, and then before you know it, the shelf is gone.
And it's what they call like a snowball effect. Starts
Yeah,
off really small, one person who may have been buying it for a school, like your grandpa. He could have been
yeah,
buying it for something, and they didn't see it. They just think, why is he buying so much?
yeah,
Maybe I should buy that just in case. And it
yeah,
just starts rolling full
yeah.
force
And
and hits.
it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the holidays, because I think you ain't going to stop people from going home. I'm going home no matter what. I need my mom's cooking. You know what I
And that's
mean?
one
I
thing. Like
need that.
we're going over to friends and a couple family house
Mhm.
for Thanksgiving, but like we're supposed to go on vacation next month and go home. But it's like everything's shut down there. And now I'm actually starting to learn from Frito Lay, the company I work for, that we might have to start quarantining ourselves for travel.
Yeah,
And I'm like, I'm just crossing.
yeah.
What's this imaginary border line
Gonna
that we
stop
call a
anything.
state? Like you think, okay, I'm going to go across this little imaginary line that divides our 2 states, and that's going to cause me to get COVID? Really? No.
Yeah, and that's at the beginning of all this, I was really worried about, because I'm in Colorado, New Mexico, Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma all the time, and it's some places are really strict, some places are not. More rural places are a little bit more chill about it. It just depends on where you kind of go, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the holidays.
That's one thing. I'm glad Texas isn't shut down.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
borders, at least
it's
for now.
I'm in New Mexico right now, and it's you can't sit down at a restaurant. Most businesses are closed. It's really weird. But whatever they decide to do, it's if they think it's better for the people.
Hey,
The only
it's
worry I have is that governors are going to take that power and keep that power and just keep doing it again and again and again.
yeah. Um,
That
um,
makes me worry. You can't stop people from working.
no, and that's the thing. I mean, didn't the governor of New Mexico get sued once already for not opening up the?
Probably.
I'm almost positive. I remember reading about it that she got sued and they won their case. That's why they
Yeah.
reopened all the bars and all the restaurants. It's because
Yeah.
she had it closed all the way until like May, like when the COVID cases went plummeting down, and then
Yeah. And
granted, then opening them up started causing that, but people stopped wearing their masks.
Yeah, but you got to also do the math on how that is going to affect towns, how that's going to affect cities. People need to work. They can't just sit at home. And I feel like a lot of those riots and a lot of the things that happened in the past few, that those were people that were frustrated. I mean, they're
Feeling
pissed off,
cooped up.
they're angry, they're mad at the wrong people, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like there was a little miscommunication. There was a better way of voicing their
See,
wants.
my dad explained that pretty well to me. He's like, yeah, he says the way he sees it is like, okay, I'm mad at this person. I'm going to burn down my neighbor's house.
What does that solve?
It doesn't, you're still mad at that person who's got nothing to do with why you're mad, but you're going to burn down your neighbor.
Yeah, I believe there was a better way of doing all this, and it's too late now. But hopefully, in the future, especially with the riots, I believe, police brutality should never be tolerated. If a policeman sits on a man's neck for 9 minutes straight, that man needs to see a courtroom.
Yeah.
He needs to see a punishment. That is clear. Everybody in the world can agree on that for sure, 100%.
Yep.
Just because you're a cop, I don't think you should get a special treatment. You know, I couldn't imagine being a cop. It's one of the hardest jobs in the world. I don't have the patience. I don't have there's no way. I don't have the temperament. There ain't no way I could have been a cop. So let's get off of politics because I stayed away from politics all week and I feel way better. Honestly, I feel a lot
Yeah.
happier this week. I ignored my phone. I just stayed off of politics and I feel a lot better. So
Less
um,
stress.
yeah, less stress. Which what I did was play Valhalla.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, bro. That game is beautiful, bro. And if you get the chance to, I mean, you played the other Assassin's Creed, so you get the mechanics of it. But that, I mean, from what I'm seeing on this article right here, it says Valhalla sees the franchise's best launch sales so far. I contribute that a little bit to COVID because more people are at home,
Yeah.
but this game is probably the best game they've ever released in the Assassin's Creed genre.
I think also the fact that it did so well too is you look at past games that released. God of War just released, and what was it based on? Norse
Mm-hmm.
mythology. Now you're in Valhalla where you get to play a Viking that deals with the Norse mythology. It's going to
Mm-hmm.
blow up. Like Norse mythology right now is just taking off.
Yeah,
And
the skill point system, like there was like a tree skill points. So when you get points, you base those off of different skills that you want to unlock, and makes your character better. And dude, it's a really great game. I want to finish the whole game. That's the first game that I've played in a long time where it's just me playing it by myself. I'm not a very big fan. Like me and you were saying, like Cold War, the campaign has co-op, so we want to play the campaign of
yeah,
that on stream, and I think that would be a blast because playing with somebody else is way different than playing by yourself.
plus you get to do the stupid stuff.
Yeah, instead of being quiet, you just take out everybody.
Yeah,
That's
or
right.
wreck the truck in the first episode.
which I'm really excited about to play with you. I think
Yeah.
that'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, Ubisoft did an amazing job with that game.
And I'm glad to see that Ubisoft is not, compared to other game franchises, like Call of Duty and Halo and all these big multiplayer games. It's nice to see a single player game do so well because I've always been a single player type game player, but to see Valhalla doing so well, I'm like, I've got to buy it. I'm probably going to buy it Friday, but I want to buy it. The graphics look amazing. I mean, right now it's still like every single game rating out there. It's 9.5 or 10.
Yeah.
Across the board. I mean, even if you look up like the lowest rating one, it's like it's still 6 out of 10, and that person doesn't like the way it ended or some stupid crap.
Yeah.
It's like seriously, but the gameplay looks amazing.
What was really cool about Assassin's Creed is like it's like a movie, but your decisions change the way the movie plays out. I'm pretty sure the endings are pretty close to how it should end out. But even like there was one mission where you have the decision to kill somebody or let him live. I chose to kill him, but I gained the respect of the guy that wanted to kill him.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because it was like there was no mercy. We're gonna kill him because he betrayed us. He came at us, and that stuff is really cool to me. Like your decisions change how the game goes, and uh, I think it's really cool to see that get a lot better in video games because it's pretty much you're in a different world. I mean, you're pretty much living in a different world, which is really cool. And Valhalla has a lot of side missions that don't affect the real game, but the side missions are funny. Like they're cool. Like so, in doing side missions, you get more skill points, and
that's one thing that I missed. Like one of my last one that I actually fully beat was Black Flag, and I loved Black Flag. Running around as a pirate, being on a ship was just fun. But
that's what Joey said.
I miss going around and just if I get bored, like okay, I'm kind of tired of playing storyline missions or side missions. I would just go to a town and just slaughter every single guard.
That's what I've been doing.
Just because you can, and that's what I love. Like just the fact that they always have that ability to do that. Like especially to see it from Assassin's Creed 1 to where it was you go from here to there, that's all. Here to there, that's all. And then finally they started getting into this open world, just massiveness.
Which was a great idea.
I can't believe how massive. Like you were telling me that you can go to Norway, England, and like a couple other places from what I've heard. But I'm like, yeah.
I'm barely at the beginning, but at the beginning they were saying that they found the body of the main character in North America. So now they're trying to figure out how did the body get to North America. So I'm excited to see how the storyline plays out. It's because they found the burial in North America, which is cool.
Dang,
so
that's awesome.
And Vikings were the first ones first Europeans into America, from what I understand, right?
Yeah, and then plus, Vikings were the ones that landed in Greenland and Iceland and Canada and just moved their way down.
Yeah, which I love that subject. I mean, I think it's pretty awesome to see. So I'm excited to finish that game. Hopefully I finish Odyssey. I may have to finish Valhalla before I finish Odyssey, to be honest with you.
Got time.
So, I mean, that's going to be really cool to see. PS4 and Xbox. We talked about it on the past few podcasts, but, seeing the numbers, which you said we won't be able to see USA, right? Yet.
Yeah, from what I've seen, a lot of them saying that they usually wait until they base it off of holiday sales. Which how are they going to do holiday sales when no one can buy it?
Yeah, which is sold out right now. There ain't no chance you're getting a PS5 or Xbox right now. I don't think. I mean, pre-orders were probably insane. But from looking at, just Japan by itself, which it says right here, Sony is more popular in Japan, which makes sense. And they say Microsoft kind of struggles. But from Famitsu, I think that's how you say it, reports that PlayStation 5 sold 118,000 units in 4 days, and Xbox sold 21,000 units in 6 days. That's a big gap. That's a huge gap.
That's a huge gap.
And they say the best PS5 selling game was Miles Morales, which was 18,640.
Spider-Man.
Which was a spider. Have you seen it? It looks clean.
So clean.
It looks super
I've been
clean.
watching a couple of YouTubers play it, and it's like, oh.
Mm-hmm. That makes me, and I hate spending money, but I might have to.
Yeah, me and my wife were talking like, I was thinking about getting an Xbox, and then it's like, oh, well, what about the PS5? It's a toss-up right now. Like, I don't know what.
Yeah.
Plus, if I do get, because eventually I think I'm going to wind up having both because I've owned every single console out there. Mm-hmm. I think my biggest complex now is like where I'm going to stick an 18-inch console for the PS5 and a 15-inch console for the Xbox. It's like that's a refrigerator and a freaking magnet almost.
Which we talked about already. I mean, both of us would be gunning for the Xbox if Halo was out right now.
Right now, I'd be buying it in a heartbeat.
We'd be gunning for that. But because Halo Infinite was pushed back, which might be a good thing. If they're not ready with the game, that's fine. I'd rather have a full correct game before you released it. But that's what I'd be gunning for. I'd still play PS4, and it wouldn't bug me that
Yeah.
much. I could
And
care
it's like
less.
what I also remember too is when they first announced the Xbox Series X. Who was the main character that was behind that Xbox? Master Chief. And now you
Yep.
have no Master Chief.
Yep.
And it's
And
I think
that's
that's
gonna
going to
hurt.
hurt their sales. I really do. But
Mm-hmm.
then I also think their sales are going to increase because of Bethesda. One of the
Mm-hmm.
Bethesda executives did announce that next Elder Scrolls game is going to be a Microsoft exclusive.
Yeah, which definitely confirms we have to buy.
Yeah, just
I mean, those games are like the staples of like the open world that we love. So that's we're gonna have to get that at some point.
now,
So
but they did say ESO is going to stay multi-console, so that's
really,
good. Yeah,
really, I didn't know that.
ESO will stay because ESO is ZeniMax owns it and Bethesda owns it, so it's kind of more of a multi-owned.
Mm,
But from what I've understood, that because they've already have so many sales in the PlayStation for the ESO, that
yeah,
adding another one that can only be Microsoft would be kind of pointless.
yeah, but I do think that that needed to happen in the Xbox space.
Oh yeah,
They needed exclusives
yes, they
because
did. They really did.
if they didn't, I would buy PS5 because that's what I've been getting. I used to be Xbox, but I've been getting PS4s now. So I think that's a good move on Xbox. So
Yeah,
good job, Xbox. I applaud you on that. You got Cold War.
I've got Cold War.
You probably played it a little bit more than I have. I played a little bit of multiplayer. I think
I
I got to rank 10.
I think I'm at 12.
Yeah.
So I
What do
played a
you
little.
think?
I like it. It's being from what I've always played in Call of Duty. I've always been a sniper, same as you. We've always
Mm-hmm.
been that competitive, quick scoping. I'm wish the ADS sights were a little bit faster,
Yeah.
especially on the Pennington. But I like it. It feels
Mm-hmm.
like the classic. I'm starting to realize that some of the things that I don't like about it, like the skilled based matchmaking, is very. It's hard to move up. It really is. Like I am
Yep.
a new player, so my is 0.00. That you've got people who are not new, but they've reset their character, and
Yeah.
they're just like I finally like at one game I did like I was a +6. I was like, yeah. Next game, -6. So I was like, there's no
There's no middle.
yeah.
Yeah.
I wish it was, like back in the old days where you just played with okay, you're a level 10, you're gonna play with level 5s to 15s. Give you
Mm-hmm.
that
Yeah.
in between. Especially once
Yeah.
you start getting into people who are prestiged, because there already is people out there that have probably hit
Oh
max
yeah.
level.
Oh yeah.
I really wish they would get rid of that skill best, especially in certain game modes. Like search and
Yeah.
destroy, you shouldn't be having let's say you have a 15 KD in domination and you go to play search and destroy,
Mm-hmm.
it's a totally different game.
Yeah. That's
It's
for
a
sure.
totally different gameplay. So I feel like they need to get rid of or if they do have skill based matchmaking, have it for each mode.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that would
Yeah.
work out better in the long run for them.
Yeah. And a lot of competitive players, from what I'm seeing, the people that are involved with the CDL, they hate it because they're going from playing game battles, 6 hours straight, and then they get done and they're like, okay, well, I just want to chill. I'm just going to jump to some public matchmaking. And it's like they're still playing game battles because these people are averaging 4 KD, 5 KDs playing against the people that have the same thing. And I mean,
Yeah,
that's tough. That's rough.
I've been reading a lot, like especially a lot of the YouTubers I watch. They hate it because they say it's hard to get above a 2 KD because the moment you start getting up there, you're going to get in there with a bunch of sweats.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, they're sweats too, but sometimes they just want to have fun with the game, not sweat at the game. Like me,
Yeah.
I used to be so competitive at the game, and I still am because I still get so mad at that game. But sometimes you just want to sit down, relax, play for an hour, 2 hours,
Yeah. And
and
I think that's where rank systems need to come in.
Yeah,
You
I
there
wish they
needs to be a
had.
separate playlist.
I wouldn't. That's what I agree. I wish they had a ranked and unranked. Like we always bring it up. Halo 3 had the best ranked and
Perfect.
unranked system. If they
What
could
if
find
Halo Infinite brings that back?
oh, if they do,
Oh
I
my
will cry,
goodness,
bro.
bro.
If they bring back a
If
ranked and unranked where we can go and be stupid and freaking
give
team
me
SWAT.
ranked lone wolves. Oh my god, ranked team slayer. And what was nice about that is like, competitive CDL is now down to 4v4 instead of 5v5 like it has been for the past few years. 4v4, especially for search and destroy, is a perfect
Yeah.
deal. 4v4 is perfect because you take out two people, you're screwed. The game's over. The match is over. You just took out half of the people, you're screwed. But 4v4, it's a little bit more, I think it's a little bit closer.
Yeah.
I think with the rank system, public matches, throw me 6v6. That's fine. 6v6 search and destroy on public matches, that's fine. I could care less. On a rank system, bump that down to 5, bump that down to 4v4. I
Yeah.
think that would help a lot.
And that's one thing that I've seen a lot of other people complaining about, bring up search and destroy, is the kill cams. I remember from back in Modern Warfare, the first one, it always was last kill. Modern Warfare brought out the best play of the game, which I like.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like when I'm playing
Yeah.
domination and I get 7 kills within 5 seconds, I
That
want to
needs
see
to be
that.
seen. Yeah, that needs to be
But
seen.
when you're in a 6v6 situation and where it's only 1 life per person, okay, and at the beginning of the game you threw a grenade and it got 3 kills, that shouldn't be the final kill cam when the guy who just won the game was actually a 3v1v situation and he won it.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
needs to be that final kill cam showing that guy got the final kill.
Yeah, and I feel like Treyarch does an amazing job at answering people's demands, which they don't have to. Let's be honest. They don't
Yes.
have to. It's their game. They should be proud of it. That's what it is. But
I
I
remember
believe they should listen to people more.
I think so too. And I remember Call of Duty Ghosts was one of the I liked Ghost, and a lot of people didn't. A lot of people hated Ghost, but Treyarch started listening so much to people about what they thought was wrong with that game. Like when I remember when the first game came out, you could slide for like 30 seconds. You could slide from one side to the next, and people were, because they would be sliding and they'd be killing people.
Yeah.
And I think that's the reason.
I think that's where snaking came from.
Yeah.
Because he would slide, jump up, slide, and then it was counted as snaking, and that's where people got irritated by it.
Because it was the same slide amount for the first jump as it was the last jump.
As much as the same. So they've done a really good job of nerfing it, I guess.
Yeah.
They did a really good job of that. With Cold War, I'm really excited because even though the snipers are bad at the beginning when you get them, once you get all the attachments, I think the ADS speed is going to be perfect.
Yeah, because I do remember in the alpha and the beta that once you get that Paddington and you put the certain snipe, God, that was so much fun.
Yeah, and I think the second beta, which I don't think you got to play,
I got to play 2 hours.
They let you have all the attachments.
They did in the alpha, but the alpha they only let you have 1 sniper or 2 snipers.
Yeah. Now they have the Barrett 50 cal.
Yeah,
which they put in there.
I can't wait to unlock.
Yeah, which we know it's going to be slow, but it's going to be a one-shot kill every single time.
Yeah, and that's one thing I've always used since Modern Warfare 2. Especially Modern Warfare 2 was a lot of different reasons because trigger finger wise, that was the best gun in the world.
Hated that. Well, I can't say anything. I had a modded controller in Modern Warfare 2, so I can't say
and I could still almost outshoot you with the trigger finger.
Dude, that was so much fun putting a foul on with extended mags and then going into search and destroy and just chilling and then
yeah, but then when you would run into somebody, oh, you're nothing but a hacker.
Yeah. Which was true. I mean, I was using a modded controller, but I paid for it and I was a kid and I used it and I don't care. So it is
whatever happened to that controller.
I still have it. It doesn't work no more. I think one of the thumbsticks messed up, so. But that Xbox 360 controller lasted a hell of a lot longer than a PS4 controller lasted.
I bought a TiVo one, and I'm like, man, I don't think I'm going to have to buy a new one for me.
Mm-hmm. It was funny the other night because you told me because my stick started sticking, you were like, best move, just throw it. And I literally threw it on the ground, and it worked. So
If it's broke already, why not try it?
yeah, so I might have to buy one, but hopefully not.
Just
But
don't be like Ryuho. Buy a new controller and then play with the old one for 6 months, complaining about the old one.
I was so angry, bro. I'd be like, bro, why don't you bought a new one? Why don't you just
You
use it?
spent $70
No,
on a
man.
controller. Why don't? No, I gotta get my money's worth out of this one. Dude, you've had it for 3 years.
But to us, when we played like Xbox 360, those controllers lasted forever, and they were
God.
so perfect on your hands.
I
Perfect.
threw my 360 through a wall, and it still worked fine.
Yeah. But Cold War, I'm excited. I think it's going to be a great year.
I'm intrigued to see what they're going to do with Warzone. I really am.
Yeah.
Because
which doesn't happen till
new holidays. From
Yeah.
it's after Christmas, from what I've understood.
Yeah. But that's going to be really cool to see what happens in Warzone.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to
I'm not a big fan of Warzone anymore. I played it a lot when it first came out, but
I'm getting back into it.
It's not as fun without a lot of people to go in the game with.
If me, you, and Will and Joey would get on it, I think it'd be fun. But
yeah. But it says right here, Cold War breaks global franchise sales record, which is ridiculous to even think about when you look back at all the amazing games that have came out. So I think it's going to be a great year. I'm really excited for Black Ops this year. The competitive scene is going to be amazing.
Oh God, I'm torn. I don't know who to support. 100 Thieves or Optic. I don't know, bro. Because I've always been a fan of Nade Shot, but then I've also been a fan of the OG Optics. And seeing Hutch come back to Optic made me.
Yeah, Old Men of Optic back. Yeah, that's
That's
I'm
funny.
gonna
That
stick with Optic.
I might go with 100 Thieves just to give us some more confidence.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun to be like a little competition between both of us, because
that's one thing is I did see that FaZe Simp and a couple of the other ones, they did that 6v6 $25,000 tournament in Minnesota. Whoever Minnesota's team is, they went and did a tournament there. Yeah, Rocker.
Yeah,
and FaZe Simp won it.
Yeah,
I did see that, and I was like, okay. But
what really made me upset was that the first two of those $25,000 tournaments, Karma, which is said to be the best Call of Duty player ever to play, is because he has the most. Well, now he's tied with two other people that have the most rings, and he retired last year, and he won the first two tournaments this year. So everybody's saying, get this dude on a team.
He needs to. I think, don't quote, but I think it'd be awesome to see him go on Optic or go on 100 Thieves, especially to go on Optic.
Even as a bench player, I mean, the support you would get.
To throw him as a freaking coach.
Yeah.
You can't be number one player and not know what you're doing.
Oh, of course. I mean, these dudes, this is what their jobs. They got to know what they're talking about.
Yeah. Throw him as a coach and get him some.
Which brings me to one thing that me and you haven't talked about yet, but Optic Scumpy, which used to be Huntsman's Scump, was he's probably been fined already, but this offseason he was fined from the CDL league because he was playing a different game outside of Call of Duty on his own channel. He was fined for it. And supposedly, from what he says, and I guess it's just from what he's saying, is that at one of the first tournament of the CDL last year, they made everybody in the CDL sign player contracts. In those player contracts says that you can't play another game. I think that's stupid.
That's very stupid.
That's stupid. I mean, coming from someone that has like 1 million subscribers on YouTube, how dare you tell them they can't play something else, especially on an off season? I could understand in season maybe.
Yeah, I can understand. That's like telling an NBA basketball player not to play football in his off season with his kids. That's stupid. He's got a YouTube channel. That's like his family right there. That's the reason why he got to where he was, because of that.
Yeah,
And you're going to
in
tell him
like a
no?
YouTube channel, that's something that he built on his own. It wasn't anybody else building it. He built it over years. And to tell somebody they can't play another game because this dude probably gets tons of sponsorships to play different games, but he has to turn them all down. Now, he said he's thinking about retiring because of that issue. He said he could have made more money playing other games that sponsored him than he did from the actual league. Who knows if that's actually true? But
I wouldn't put it past it.
yeah, I wouldn't put it past either. I mean, if I was somebody
Because
making a game, I'd want somebody famous playing my game.
you would know how well did the Huntsmans do last year.
I think they got third overall
So if
throughout the whole league.
he probably could have made more money.
I think he could have, but I just think it's stupid. I think I think it's
That's
dumb.
limiting your players.
Yeah,
to me.
And there's a return for the Call of Duty League. If you're bringing other eyes from different communities onto this influencer that plays competitive in this game,
Yeah.
that brings more eyes.
And that's
And
what gets me. Okay, so let's say I don't know what game he went and played, but let's say he went and played Apex, and he started doing good, and people started who watch Apex Legends started watching him play, and then they start seeing him play. Oh, I'm doing a competitive live tournament against some of the pros. Those Apex Legends are going to start watching him just because he's on it. So let's say
yeah,
he gets 20,000 people from Apex Legend to 20,000 people watching Extra on Call of Duty. That's 20,000, like you said, 20,000 more eyes just watching.
yeah.
I'm
So
like, Call of
I
Duty
think
is
that's stupid.
digging themselves a hole on that.
Yeah, and that was one thing that they were saying too. There's a separation between the Call of Duty League and the actual game. So the people that do the Call of Duty League, there's a actual board of members, the team owners, the people, the you know. So hopefully in the future they can change that
Which
because
I will say, I'm looking forward to the changes that's going to happen with Hector coming back as a team owner, because now
well,
he's not just a player; he is the owner. To where I
which
think he can change some.
which he was the team owner for Huntsman and now he's a team owner for Optic. But I feel like with someone in his power, he should, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I feel like he should have a more say in what happens. So
Yeah,
people that have been in it forever, people like FaZe, Empire, now Optic, even Ravens, these are people that have been in the scene forever. I think those people should be the ones that decide how these things go.
especially I mean, Call of Duty League, as big as it's gotten now, it has all of its things. To me, to two teams, FaZe
Mhm.
and Optic.
Yeah,
Those
which I'm
guys
excited.
back in the day, you got to think Modern Warfare 2. What were those two guys famous for? You had
Sniping.
FaZe Temper
Yeah.
doing some stupid, crazy YY crap on Modern Warfare 2, and then Optic came in. And then those two had such a bad rivalry that it was
Yeah,
just fun to watch.
made this scene so much bigger because like you look at just regular basketball teams, if there's no storyline, it's not that great. You know what I mean? If there's no rivalry, it's not that great.
Yep.
So I'm excited to see what happens in the next year of CDL. Um,
Well, I can't wait. I'm actually going to get into it. I think I'm
yeah,
going 100 Thieves.
good, good.
I
I,
really
I
am.
was I was I was really tempted at first because I was like, man, Huntsman just doesn't sound right.
Mm.
Optic has always been my team, but without Hector, it wasn't Optic. So now that it actually is in the right hands, I'm excited for that. Now, one thing that was brought up on the Optic Gaming channel from Optic Hitch was that you probably agree with this too. In the last few games in Call of Duty, is there any map that really stands out?
Yeah. Rust for
Like
me.
like a no, like not including Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2, not including those. Any game that have came out in the past 3 years that you can remember.
Not really.
I can't either. In his point of view was that like CS:GO, they've been playing on the same maps forever,
Ever.
but there's a strategy between those maps that people know to a T. Now, what would be the issue of them bringing back old maps from Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 2, whatever games that were like the staples, like Standoff? We can name
High
Standoff,
Rise,
High Rise. There's just so
Summit.
many.
There's
Yeah,
just so many
Summit
good.
was one of them that he mentioned. Those are great maps. I feel like they should just bring those maps back.
I agree. I really do. I believe if they just bring back one or two maps, because think about it, like you said, in CS:GO, what two maps are they playing? They're playing that one. I forgot what it's called. I know they play Train and they play that other one.
Yeah,
Those are
Train is the one I know. Yeah.
there's the two main ones that they always play. And like you said, there's a reason they build their strategy around that map. That's what I think so hard about Call of Duty League is you don't know what do. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do they know what map they're going to be playing on the day before?
I think there's like a voting system. They have to vote.
So is it of that day or is it of
I
the
think it's
week?
of that day.
See,
I
that
think
to
it's
me is
of that
so
day, I
hard
think.
because that's like limiting. To me, I always try to go to so I see esports as an actual game, like an actual
Mhm.
major league game now. And I see it like, okay, to me, you think about NFL, NBA, all these, they watch other teams' tapes. They see how
Mhm.
these players play. And now you're
Mhm.
going to limit these gamers to 500 maps that they could play that they're going to vote on that day.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think if they're going to do it that way, they need to vote it like on that Monday and then play on that Friday. It gives them
Yeah.
4 days to watch past videos or
Yeah.
watch or
I think that's
prep
why
a
they
plan.
brought in. I think that's why they brought in the coaches because a lot of people watch VOD of people's streams and stuff like that. And I just think they should bring back older maps and play competitive on those older maps because
Especially like
it would just make more sense.
if they would bring back, okay, so this is it's Treyarch, right? It's
Right now.
right now, yeah. So Treyarch, what Treyarch games was classic? You got Nuketown, Summit, and I wish they'd bring back Radiation from Black Ops
I
One.
don't.
It's the
It's
one
been
that
a
had
while.
the one that had the big saw in the middle.
Okay. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
loved that map. Not a lot of people did, but if they, especially the first two, if they bring back Summit and Nuketown, I think that would be perfect. Especially Nuketown. Nuketown 4v4 Search and Destroy is a perfect map to build a base on.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
would
I really think they should bring back older maps. It doesn't.
e-
There's no reason why. I mean,
even
they
if
bring back Nuketown every single freaking
and
game.
they're going and they always bring back Summit. It seems like Summit, but they always bring it back halfway through the game's life.
Yeah.
Like, and
Yeah.
not to mean, I'm actually a lot of people are predicting that Call of Duty Cold War is not going to last very long unless they do some major changes.
Yeah.
And they've
Which
made a lot of people mad with this skill based matchmaking is worse than the last one, from what a lot of
uh,
people.
and I've only played it for a little bit, but I was pissed off. I would have one great game, the next game I went negative. I had a great game, then I
I'd
go
listen, I
negative.
was in your party and you'd be like, "Oh yeah, I went +6. Why am I -8?"
Mm-hmm.
Like it's stupid.
Yeah. So hopefully, Treyarch can do something about the skill based matchmaking. And David Vonderhaar, which is the guy that, which is the I guess the director of those games, he said he's going to do something about it. So
Which with the way this lifestyle is going, with everything being coming so internet based and social media based, they pissed a lot of people off on Twitter. And Twitter right now is the staple. If you piss somebody off on Twitter, you're screwed.
yeah, yeah,
Somebody takes it to Twitter, you're done. You can ruin
yeah.
somebody's career on Twitter.
And one thing that made me worry with the CDL year was there was one guy, which is arguably the best AR player in the game, which is Octane. He said that he had to pay more money in fines than he actually won.
Wow.
Yeah, he paid more, and he's known now as the like the troublemaker, but he was honest about his opinions. He put them on YouTube and on Twitter. Was like, these are the things that I'm angry about, the things that I think we could change, and they fined him for it.
See, and
Uh,
that's the thing that's got me thinking. I really do believe that there's going to be a CDL league come out from another company. I think they're going to come out and it's going to
well,
be played because they're starting to really CDL league is really starting to
Yeah,
scare some people.
but I don't. I think it's the first year. Let's give them a couple years and see what happens. I mean,
It's trial run.
yeah, even MLG didn't do good for their first few years. So
Yeah, now
it's gonna be
MLG is gone.
yeah, but the guys that made it, they came out looking good. So they made more money than probably a lot of people did from that space. So other than that, man, well, what time are we hitting right now?
Almost an hour.
Hell yeah, man. We were only expected to do 30 minutes. That's good. Hell yeah, man. So your Twitter, what's your Twitter again, man?
Archangel Zach 11.
All right, and my Twitter, if I could find it here, is Tristan TF underscore SKYZZ. So if you guys ever want to get in contact with us, or even if you guys want anything that we should talk about, just leave it in the comments. Hopefully, we'll be on other streaming platforms other than YouTube. But for the time being, YouTube is where you guys can find us. So, other than that, man, I think we're all good to go.
All right. Well,
All right, man.
thanks, sir.